Alrighty, everyone. Hello. I hope everybody is having a good Sunday. Sorry, I don't have makeup on and I have my glasses on. I hate doing these kinds of videos, point blank, period. There's a couple of reasons why I'm doing this, and I'm going to talk about it. And then I'm just going to show you guys what I have and explain why I was mentioned in this clip and the actual stuff behind it, because I know people are already deciding to run with narratives, especially on the heels of everything that happened with the All Things Sassy channel. People in this community love to have conspiracy theories, and I'm all for them. I can have them too, but I have always been pretty credible with you guys, and I don't want, just because Katie mentioned my name in a way, that people are going to start talking poorly about me. If people want to not like me or have a conspiracy theory about me, that's fine, but I'm at least going to share what I have and explain why I did the things I did. And if people still have questions about that, if people decide they don't want to trust me anymore, if people decide they don't want to like me anymore, that's on them. I'm just getting my piece out there. I also think what I'm going to share with you guys is going to fill in some of the puzzle pieces when it comes to everyone who is trying to put together all of these different screenshots that are going on. Now, I want to go ahead and say I stand behind every critical video I've done of Katie. I do not like Katie. I still think she's problematic. She just decided to mention me in a way that seems like I'm doing something I'm not. So I'm going to clear that up. And hopefully with some of the stuff I share with you guys, it will fill some of the pieces of the puzzle. I know it did for me. And I have chosen to not be super vocal about what I had gotten over the last couple of days because I really did not want to insert myself into this stuff. I was trying to do what I thought was best behind the scenes, but Katie likes to make things the way she likes to make them. So I'm going to go ahead and say hi to everybody, give a little bit of backstory, and then I'm just going to get into it. I don't want this to be super long. Please be respectful of anyone and everyone mentioned. When I start showing DMs, because that's what I'm going to be doing, please understand it's because I'm at a point where I have no choice to explain myself. I feel like I have no choice but to show things, because if I just say things to this community, it doesn't matter if you just say it, you have to have receipts. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. So I'm going to also say, I apologize in advance. I am not good at receipt stuff. I have done nothing but redact these messages for the last 2 hours. So please bear with me. But I do want to say hi to everyone who is here and get on into it. Hello, Austin. I hope your day is also going well. This is not for views, Abby Princess, but I can understand where you may feel that way. Hey, Xylee. Hey, Heather. Hey, World Puzzler Specialist. Hey, Suzanne. Good to see you. Hey, Heather McDonald. Hey, Rarely Care. Hey, Just Dom. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Beauty Demon. Hey, Michelle. Hey, DJ. Fields of Grace. Good to see you. Hillbilly. Good to see you. I am going to try and actually put this on slow mode for my mods, because once I start sharing my screen, I'm not going to be able to do that. And it's still giving me the same problem it did last time, even though Xylee told me how to do it. I found it. Okay. Hopefully a 30-second delay will be enough for everybody to keep track. If not, I'll try to peek at the chat here and there. Mods, if it's not enough, just at me so I can see it. So we'll start with the clip on why I'm doing this, and then I will give some backstory and show the other stuff I'm going to show.
Now, let me show you.
Hang on. I don't think you guys can hear it. Hopefully this is loud enough. Let me know if you guys can hear that. You guys can't hear it? Okay, let me see. I thought I had this all set up, but you know, like I said, I'm not the best at these, so.
Now. Now, let me show you the Katie stuff. First of all, a couple people have hearing this stuff. Someone who's been critical of me in the past, but has been helping, apparently, is someone named Mandapants. She provided a lot of information, and we've also been getting information from other people that have been sending screenshots to either me or to Michael Saltz that.
Okay. So that's what started this. And I know some people are running with the conspiracy theories, are just assuming, and I think a lot of it has to do with being on the heels of everything that kind of transpired with All Things Sassy, and with everyone trying to piece together what aligns with what, who's been behind a lot of this stuff. And I understand people are going to try and see the bigger picture. I did not send anything to Katie. Okay, I did send things to Saltz, and I'm going to share the DMs on why I felt it was probably in my best interest to send things to Saltz, because I was getting flooded with some really strange DMs from people I had never talked about. Now, to give a little bit of backstory before I start showing these DMs, is I have talked to Nat before. Did I talk to her at length? No, I did not. Did I have a relationship with her? No, I did not. And I'm going to be transparent. Unfortunately, the only thing I have about Nat's DMs in mine is a screen recording, and there is sensitive information in that, so I can't share that. I'm not trying to hide anything. But she had wanted to be on my channel to talk about her mental health, and I was open to that, but I had stated I wanted to wait to do that because things were starting to rile up again. I could tell that stuff was going to go south in this dealing with her, and I'm not going to risk my credibility by having somebody who I had doubts about being credible. So I really wanted to let everything play out, and that's what I told her. She did give me a little bit of pushback that, well, if I didn't do it now, she maybe wouldn't do it at all. And I was fine with that, because I'm not going to be manipulated for other people to have my platform. I'm just not going to be. So that's kind of where that was. She did disclose to me that she called CPS, and she did share one of the screenshots that she later shared publicly on Twitter about a message where Katie allegedly, because a lot of these screenshots were doctored, had acknowledged that maybe Todd had been physical. So I'm not going to encourage or discourage anyone from making any kind of call that they feel is necessary. And that's pretty much what I told her. I don't want to know anymore. You shouldn't have even told me this. You need to keep this between yourself and whoever else knows. It's no one's business. If you did this for good intentions, okay, like that's whatever. Don't be involving me or anyone else in what you're doing. So I did talk to her. So on what day was it? It was either Wednesday or Thursday. I had tweeted out that I was likely going to piss off everybody in the Katie community because from where everybody was coming from and how everyone was trying to piece together all of the different screenshots that were being leaked and DMs that were being leaked, I really was in the middle with a lot of it. And I knew that me maintaining a neutral stance was going to make people a little frustrated because people want, viewers and other creators alike want other creators to state their point and feel that they need to pick a particular side that they lean more towards. And I just am not going to do that unless that's how I feel. If I feel I lean more strongly towards one creator, then I will say that. But with everything going on in this community, I am on my own little island, I feel like. So I did that. And when I put that tweet out, I got 3 people message me who I have never spoken to before. I didn't even know about. And I know some people are trying to put together pieces and maybe understand where Little Miss Noble where she fits into this. Hopefully these screenshots maybe give a little bit more context. And the screenshots that she sent me in combination with seeing some of the tweets and replies that Salts was putting out is why I felt after a while I needed to send this stuff to Salts, because it felt like from what everyone was saying and what everyone else was sharing on their platforms, no one was being given the information that Little Miss Noble had told me. Now, why she decided to tell me, I have no idea. Like I said, I really wasn't close friends with Nat. I didn't know who this person was. And she jumps in my DMs and just starts releasing all of this really interesting information that was kind of haywire. So I am going to go ahead and share these DMs. There is a lot of redaction, and I am going to request that you do not take guesses as to who and what is being redacted. This is to prevent other people from being put in the position I am in right now. Please respect that. This is how the conversation starts. I think I took these screenshots on Friday, so this started on Thursday. And I will read them with you guys. Manda, I was told to reach out to you. Can we talk? Again, this is a very random message. I don't know who this is. Why is somebody sending someone else to talk to me? It made no sense. And I was like, who told you to reach out? I would say only reach out to people on your own accord. Either way, my DMs are open and people are able to reach out. She names said person. And she said, I'm Nat's friend, Little Miss Noble. And if you're willing and are free, I would like to call you. I don't give my number out to anyone. There is like 5 people who are other creators who have my number. I am not going to give my actual number to anyone. And the creators who do have it are ones that I have talked to long enough that I trust. And I also do that because if I ever get doxxed, I have a very small select group of people to go to. So she then goes on, I go on to say, I'm confused to blank. They follow me. So if they wanted to say something, they could have. I was under the impression that they reached out to me on behalf of this other person, not that this other person had told them to reach out to me, which gets clarified. And and then I say, maybe I'm misunderstanding and you wanted someone to talk to and they suggested me. I also double cropped my messages so that people wouldn't assume or try to say that these were altered or I missed anything. She said, I say, unfortunately, I will not be doing phone calls. If you have anything you want to say or ask, it'll have to be via DMs. I apologize for the inconvenience, but I speak heavily about boundaries. Her reply is, I understand completely. I forgot to redact the name, my bad. I was talking to someone and they suggested you twice with the information I know. However, due to the severity of everything, I have to be careful. And she screenshotted their message. It's not Crystal Bill, just so you guys know, but I cropped out this person because, again, I'm not trying to get any other people involved. Xylee, if people are arguing, hide them. I mean, I'm just trying to get through this. I hate doing this. She says, then I wanted to give you proof. They told me to talk to you. And I said, I'm not someone who requires proof when talking to me. Just so you know, that is not blank person. That is actually blank person. Then she said, because again, you have to understand everything that's going on. I am on high alert of people trying to get me involved in this. And that's exactly what ended up happening. So I guess I kind of fell into the trap. She said, I thought they were blank at one time, which is totally incorrect. I can't keep up with everyone changing. And I just said, definitely not. I have been here for 2 years, but Twitter isn't my real life. Okay. I mean, some of this is just conversation. I don't know what all is being said currently, but you should know this yesterday, a certain lawyer contacted Nat's mom and when Nat posted all the screenshots, this lawyer, I mean, she doesn't say him, but then she screenshots a conversation. This lawyer told Nat's mom to tell Nat to take them down, but told Nat's mom to promise that he had never spoke. And I had heard about that because, again, conspiracies are running wild on Twitter. And she said he also DM'd Nat's other friend and said this to her. And I'll zoom in. This is clearly a conversation with Salts. I don't know who he's having this with, but he says, as you guys can see, no, she did this to herself. I don't want to help those willingly inserting themselves and starting trouble and ignoring my advice. If she is innocent, she is being used and nothing and believes is true, believes everything that is true is true. If she is involved, then she just exposed herself. There are problems with everything she says. Apparently is doing this to get attention. She was out. This was free. She inserted herself back in and showed everyone evidence to be torn apart. We are not getting involved. So what I take from this is someone reached out to Salts, asking Salts to defend Nat because people started to question her screenshots because clearly some of them had been altered. And someone, from what I take of this, it is a one-sided argument. But what I'm reading out of that message Salts said is they asked him to defend her. And she kind of put herself on a chopping block by putting all of that out there. All of those screenshots that clearly some of them definitely were altered. And he's saying she did it to herself. There's not much we can do at this point. And then she goes on to say he wanted Nat to take down the screenshots as that it would make KJ look more credible to the upcoming trial with Swanson and make Nat look bad. I've caught him in so many lies. And yes, I have reported him to the state bar. Why would she tell me that? Why? And I understand she's been on somebody's live and I didn't watch it all. I only caught parts of it where she acknowledges that she sent him to the state bar. If she felt he did something and that was required, it's not my place to say you should or shouldn't do something. But why are you telling somebody you do not know this information? Why is she jumping in my DMs telling me all of this stuff? I was not close with Nat. Why is she comfortable doing this? It seems very manipulative. And then I just say, okay, I'm not asking for any more information because clearly, frankly, I didn't want it. I did not want to be a part of it. And she goes on to say he knew Nat taking down the screenshots right away would look bad. I was asleep at the time as I had been working in the morning. Otherwise, I would have said to Nat, don't do it. Plus, Nat was hurt by KJ. KJ posted more and more, knowing fully it was Nat's daughter's B-Day. I don't know where that fits in, but these messages right here indicate to me that Little Miss Noble is helping or advising Nat what to do. She was going to advise Nat not to take down the screenshots. I just said okay after that. And then she goes on to say the things I caught him on, you would be shocked. But she doesn't provide anything. Not that I was going to ask, because again, I didn't want to be a part of it. But I will say I did speak to an Agent Johnson about him. And my response was, and I really don't care about Salts like he's doing his job. I understand people feel one way or another about Salts. From my perspective, I have no opinion of good or bad on Salts. I think he's doing his job at the end of the day as he sees fit. I understand people want to question him and his credibility and stuff like that. If you want to do that, fine. I'm not going to. I think he's doing his job. I can kind of see everybody's criticism of how things have gone down, but I'm not going to insert myself, and I'm definitely not going to, what's the term? I am not going to say that I think an attorney isn't doing their job because I'm not happy with how things are coming out. She goes on to say, because since January, nothing has been done to help the community from the hackers. She is responding to that. I said his job is to scam people. So she's saying that he's scamming people. FBI was never involved. I spoke to Johnson. He had no idea about the case at all. And Blank spoke, and this is another person that doesn't need to be involved, spoke to them about the case. And I said, okay. She says, all I'm saying about it is things look sus, and I spoke to an agent 4 weeks ago, but I forgot to get his name. He informed me in code that things are being investigated. Okay, that's really strange. Okay. I said, I don't know what you're expecting me to say. I'm just listening. She said, I don't know if any of this stuff or codes right. I just want you to hear me out on this because they wanted me to tell you. Who wanted you to tell me? Like, it just makes absolutely zero sense. And I just said, okay, I'm hearing you out. She goes on to say, I have noticed stories change so much from his side about the FBI. And when Nat tried to ask, he would tell Nat and question, why is she questioning him? I had no idea about lawyers, etc., but I did find out he never went through Interpol to speak to Nat. He never had an adult present when speaking to Nat, and she is required to have one. I know Nat as I have talked to her every day since January. How does she know all of this stuff? And I'm pretty sure we all can agree Nat is not credible. So did she just take Nat for her word? She goes on to say Nat isn't the hacker. She needs help from specialists as some things she can't understand. And she says one of the things that Nat struggles with. About this lawyer, I told you, as I trust you, but FBI have told me they think he's a scammer. They're not going to divulge that kind of information to anyone. I mean, I'm just saying that they're not going to. I asked why he never asked Nat or anyone for money. They only told me that kind of scammer. And I said, I don't think Nat is the hacker. She replies with, that's what she thinks is going on. Her mom made a video yesterday. KJ and her mom did talk, as Nat and KJ did have a friendship. Me and my friend heard KJ in an audio clip that currently we thinking about releasing. Excuse me, what? But right now, while she's going on all these other channels and everybody else's DMs trying to pin this on Salts and Nat, from the conversation I had with her, she knows way too much information. I'm not saying she is directly involved at this point, but you cannot help but question with some of these DMs that I'm getting and what this person is telling me. Why does she know these things? Why is she so comfortable saying she absolutely knows that Katie and Nat were friends? It just does not make sense. She put somebody's name in there that, again, I'm not including any other people than myself at this, because no one should have to feel that they have to release DMs to get their point across. Someone is saying that Nat is the hacker and needs to stop hurting people. I do, however, feel Nat was set up, but I don't know who. My guess is Swanson. Probably should have redacted that, but I didn't. And I said, people will have their opinions. It doesn't mean they're right. She responds with, right, I get that. But when people start out stating opinions as facts, that's when it gets bad and people get hurt. When this happened before, people were calling into UK police saying Nat should be institutionalized. I'm very worried this will all happen again. I just don't want people hurt. I saw blank and blank comments on Twitter. I don't know where I play into all of this mess. This is strictly deflection, in my opinion. But I have been in this community for 2 years. I met Nat in January. Blank didn't like the fact I didn't tell her about the audio on my post. You can see her fight with me. Again, I didn't go look because I don't care. I don't run my mouth to everyone. I respect everyone's wishes. I think we have clearly seen that that's not true. So many people have shared DMs that make no sense with this individual. I was given permission to talk to you. From who? And why do you need permission? I mean, this is manipulation. This is what manipulation looks like. I was given permission to talk to you about this, as a lot of this I wanted to tell someone who would understand. My reply, as they kind of have been throughout this whole thing, is I'm hearing what you're saying. I just don't have anything to add. She replies with, okay. I said, sorry if it's expected. I respond, at this point, I'm just soaking everything in. She said, no, I understand. It's a lot. I just don't understand where blank and blank caught me red-handed. Twitter isn't my life. People have been badly hurt. Blank is gone. She was harassed so much. I don't even know who this person was that she was talking about. I'd never heard of them. I say, I believe whatever they have, they will share, and people can make their minds up from whatever they share. A lot of people, including myself, have gotten death threats, and I had my nephew's pictures posted to look threatening. And I said, sorry that happened to you. She continues to go on. I'm okay now, but I get it's scary. I just want justice the same way. But people out there playing detective is going to hurt someone someday. I actually agree with that statement. It won't just be their opinions. Blank are still going after people. This community used to be fine and now it's divided. I don't want to see that. I'm letting the FBI do their job. She goes on to say Nat was right to contact CPS. There's things she knows and her mom knows to be true about child's name. I'm not going to say that Katie's son's name in this. I have it redacted everywhere else. I just missed it here. I also have dealt with CPS for my nephews. People are going, and I just replied, people are going to speculate about her going real life with CPS when they don't know what pushed the call. Not saying it needs to be shared, but coming publicly and saying, yes, I called CPS, but doesn't provide what pushed the call leaves it for speculation. Not saying it's right or wrong for people to assume and make opinions, but when you don't give the people everything, they are going to pick apart and come to their own conclusions. Hence why I'm doing this. People have right that I can understand. Currently, sheriff is involved in watching. I know later Nat wants to explain why she called. I said, I get that. I think it would have been best if she didn't even mention all of this. She said, yeah, I told her to be careful. The sheriff did ask for unedited videos because they can't use edited ones like everyone is doing on YouTube. I said, okay. She said, but they actually have been watching since blank reported. She was talking about CPS, and I said, no one knows who reports for CPS unless the reporter comes forward. I have gone over this multiple times. Most states, and I will verify for Minnesota, but most states give reporters anonymity, meaning you call in anonymously. Reporter information is not privy to anyone except for the investigator, and if law enforcement is required to know, they can know, but they are bound by law as well to not say who the reporter is. She goes on to say CPS didn't help, but they are watching Katie's lives. I thought everyone knew it was Nat. I said, yeah, for this report, but saying blank called, that's not known. Yeah, the sheriff told Nat this. What would you suggest we do? And I said, they likely wouldn't have known. And if they did know, they can't disclose who called. It's against the law. Do what feels best. Go with your gut. It's not my place or anyone else's to tell you or suggest what you should do because you are the only one who knows everything you do. Then she clarifies and says they didn't say who exactly or specific. So when she's called out and kind of pressured that, no, I know you're telling me incorrect information because I know from professional experience, she backpedaled. So far, everyone is saying just to take a break, and currently that is what Nat's doing. I said I find it highly unlikely, but not every state and individual officer holds themselves to the law. Again, I'm not comfortable advising you on what you should do. I'm not in your position and never have been. I don't know what you know, so I don't feel it would be morally accurate for me to do so. Do what you feel should be done. She goes on to say it was Minnesota police. I know Nat has the email. I don't know which stuff about each law, but one of my friend does. He works for the government for 10 plus years, so he knows more than me. And I just explained that I had worked for CPS, so I knew I was talking about. And she said, oh, I believe you. And she provides some personal information that's not for me to release. It's not pertinent to anything. I apologize. I don't usually message randomly anyone, but I felt you should know. Again, I still have the question as to why. Why me? I said I don't mind people reaching out to me. So don't worry about it. I just feel bad due to the circumstances. I understand due to the fact things were posted and taken down right away made things look worse. Plus blocking. I blocked blank because I don't associate with people who want me to tell them everything and try and turn against each other's. I'm not that kind of person and would never do that. By the way, I might be taking a break off Twitter just like blank, but first I'll see what blank and blank have because I have conversations with them too. Personally, I think there's a Trojan theory is going on. Seen it enough times. I said time will definitely tell. True. And then she says, so Nat messaged me and she wants you to know her report. I took out her address for safety. Guys, the next bit of this is heavily redacted. I left enough so you guys could get the gist of what is being said, but this individual has all of this information. Why? Why does she know the detailed report? I know she is claiming that Nat messaged it to her, but I mean, in an hour's time, it really is questionable to me. Mods, are you doing okay with the chat or do I need to slow it down more? I've ignored it and I just popped over. It seems to be going relatively fast. Okay, you guys are good? All right. Sorry. Yeah. If it gets really bad, you guys can DM me and I'll see it on my phone. So, like I said, this next part is really The initial red flag was her reaching out to me and comfortable telling me all this stuff. You can see I did not really implore or engage in the conversation. I didn't really encourage it to keep going. I didn't encourage anything. She just wanted to dump this information. And in my opinion, from other messages I have seen and from how this individual is behaving online, I think this person was trying to manipulate me and hoping that because I have sympathized with Nat before, understanding if she has these mental health diagnoses, I kind of know how they operate due to my education. So they were hoping I would blindly believe them and be easily manipulated into getting on my platform and defending them. That is kind of what I feel. I don't know if that's true. Katie has shown this and another one on her Instagram Live. I'm going to be showing more. It's going to be redacted. If people get mad at me for sharing all this, I don't care. I'm giving context at this point. And Katie put her own foot in her mouth by trying to say I sourced her. So a lot is redacted. I'm a former friend of blank. She is married to blank. They have a son blank. I wish to report Todd and Katie for child abuse ranging from 2019 to present day. I'm gravely concerned for blank's safety and emotional, physical, and well-being. First incident, 2019. I was on a call with Katie. Her son blank was screaming in the background. I guess I edited Todd's name out. I heard Todd, her husband, shout at him to shut the fuck up and ask Katie what the hell is going on. She said blank was having a meltdown and Todd was dealing with it. As this goes on and we can continue reading, does this not sound like what narrative has been pushed before from a video? And I'm not saying anything against that creator, but this is being worded as if it was a FaceTime call when really this is something else that has been floating on the internet. Again, why does this person have all of this? And then we have later information and later other screenshots saying that she helped Nat write this. And if Nat does struggle, which that's questionable at this point, I don't know if she would be able to come up with all of this on her own, to compile all of this on her own. There has to be more than one person involved in this. I'll continue reading though. Said blank was having a meltdown and Todd was dealing with it. I said, why is he shouting? To which blank ran into the room shouting, Mommy, Daddy, stop Daddy. Todd came in to the room in full view and punched blank in the chest. Blank screamed. Blank begged Todd, please don't hurt me, Daddy. I shouted at him through the video and Katie ended the call. When she came back on, she was crying, saying Todd had hit her. She looked visibly shaken, and I asked about blank. She said he's fine in bed. She promised she would report Todd. Second incident, May 2020, was on video call, heard blank scream at Todd saying, Daddy, don't punch me. Same kind of narrative, just different dates. Third incident, May 2020. I think I'm missing some in here. Katie on the video call admitted. I can't read the rest of that. And then I see it says 8th incident. I think I missed some of the screenshot, so I apologize. Keep in mind this, so we're just going to keep going. This is the 8th incident. So there's what we read 2, part of 3, and down to 8. So I must have missed the one in between. 8th incident, December 2020. You can assume what this word is, and you can just don't even try to go with your imagination here. But this is how far-fetched this stuff is. Can you understand why I started getting questionable and feeling like I should send this stuff to somebody? 9th incident, January 2021. Saw Todd push blank and pinch his arm. 10th incident, January 2021. Heard Todd scream at blank and blank scream, Mommy, help me. Katie shut the door. This is something that's roaming around on the internet currently. Emotional. I witnessed Todd shout, belittle, psychologically abuse, and use aggressive behaviors with blank since 2019 to January 2020 this year, and I worry for his safety. I've witnessed Katie shout at blank, and he's her biggest mistake in saying she wished he was normal. Okay. Goes on to say, Katie told me her son reminds her of a life before him, and so he spends the majority of his time either on his own or with his dad. Neglect. Blank spends about all of his time in the basement or confined to his room with his iPad only for company. He is not allowed to make friends or see anyone his age, and so has no social skills whatsoever. He has nurses that help care for him. Those are his only friends. Katie refuses to allow him near other kids. Katie works from home. She works for up to 16 hours per day online. She regularly live streams on Instagram and YouTube, and blank is regularly seen or heard screaming or shouting for her attention in the background. This has been witnessed by thousands of people online and documented on YouTube. I think some of these have gotten out of order, so I apologize. Again, this is not my strong suit. On YouTube and hundreds of clips available for anyone to watch. Only one occasion recently, blank is heard screaming for his mom to stop recording, and she got up and shut the door. If people think that is it how I would parent if I had a child? I don't know. That does not equate. I will say that firmly. This situation, is it probably poor parenting? Will some probably agree with that? Maybe. It's not abuse or neglect. That does not rise to a level of abuse or neglect. If he interrupts her at all, she shoos him out and tells him she's busy and to go away, always shutting the door in his face. It is noted she treats her dogs better than her own son. I've noticed she neglects him a lot and has done so for years. I've tried to report this twice, but being in the UK, I don't know. I don't think it went through to the correct places. I reported some recently to Minnesota CPS, but they are refusing to do anything. CPS has visited Katie in the past, and Todd is on his best behavior. Okay, so this little Miss Noble person, let's just omit the fact that maybe she helped write this or not. She was aware that clearly whoever has been contacting, whether it was Nat, someone else, they have been trying to get CPS involved. I have expressed time and time again when I've talked about CPS, it has to rise to a level of abuse and neglect per the state standards or county standards, whichever one is running that agency. Is it all? When I was working, I would call in reports because families would move, and I thought that there was enough for concern, but another state didn't screen it in, meaning an investigation wasn't launched. I understand that frustration, but when you actually see these incidences, can you not see that most of it is what we see on her channel and what people at times have blown out of proportion? I'm not saying she or Todd are parents of the year, but my goodness. Okay, so we're going to keep going. I really worry about blank. Now I'm no longer friends. I can't check how he is or her. They fire any nurses who get too close. One who saw what was happening with the neglect, Katie fired and did several streams slandering her. She threatens to sue anyone that reports her for anything and did to me also for telling her I plan to report her. Bruises fade, but the way they are psychologically abusing him, shouting at him, and using aggressive tactics is harming him. Because of his learning difficulties, and I'm not going to say that, he does not understand and is not being given the proper help. I will say people on this, on the spectrum, people who are put on this spectrum, you cannot just assume how they're going to behave or understand things. That is why it is a spectrum. Okay? Because of she lists his things, I redacted that. I know this is information that Katie has put out before, but I'm not trying to cause any issues here. It goes on to say, please help him. He doesn't deserve this. He's a smart boy, but he's afraid of his dad. From what I have seen, and I will say this now, from what I have seen of when that boy is around Todd, he is not afraid of him. Katie promised she would report Todd, but still sticks by him defending his actions as recent as Sunday, May 30th. Katie works at home under the business called We Know That. Okay. Goes on to say, don't even try to use your imagination on what this is. Todd was caught by Katie. Stupid, crazy, off the wall, really alarming things. She promised she would report it, but now defends him. I'm also concerned by this. She has since defended him, saying it popped up as a virus when they were researching the dark web. They both have Tor accounts. I really don't know what that is. I don't know if I should have left that in or not. If you need any more information, please email me back, or you can call on, I'm assuming maybe stuff was taken out. Attached are 4 screenshots of Instagram messages between me and one where Todd threatens me with legal action as I told him I would report him to the police. A photo of Katie's phone showing average 16 hours. Okay. We're going to digest this for just a second, and I'm not going to even really read the chat. I'm going to address this from my point of view. Everything in here, except for the wildly off-the-wall stuff, has been stuff that people on Instagram and Twitter and the Reddit and wherever else, I'm sure in the Discord too. I don't know. I'm not a part of the Discord. I don't really read the Reddit because I can't understand it. But I know some of this information of these instances are all things that people have criticized Katie for. This is all stuff that has happened on her channel or on a live stream or somewhere like that. And it's all just been compiled and exaggerated. And if Little Miss Noble knew and took part of this, why was she not questioning these allegations? Okay, you have to think of it from that perspective. I know that's going to be hard, but I wasn't assuming what's on the Discord. I'm just saying I'm sure some of this is talked about there. I'm not talking about any groups in a bad way. I'm just saying information about Katie's behavior is all over the place. So we will continue. Attached, I was sent these. Why is she sending this stuff to me? I mean, it makes no sense. There has to be some kind of manipulation going on behind this. Like, this makes no sense on why all of this would be shared to somebody you do not know without an underlying reason. So she sent me these screenshots. Why does she have these? Like, if Nat is the one who reported it, why did she share this stuff with Little Miss Noble? Even if they're friends, like, you don't actually share the screenshots of talking to a professional or a detective with a friend. Maybe that's just me. Maybe other people do like to share stuff like that. It just seems weird that she has all of this information and is aware of all of this stuff and even acknowledges that she would have advised Nat to behave differently. So here's one. I redacted the email and the last name of Natalie. I know people know it, but again, I'm trying to do this as professionally as possible, and I'm trying not to get mad. Our screening team follows state-provided guidelines. Doesn't that sound interesting? Didn't I just say that? When it comes to screening in or out child protection reports, at this time, reports you have made do not meet criteria to be screened in. Wow, that sounds super familiar. I feel like I just said that. If you have immediate concerns regarding a child's well-being, welfare checks through local law enforcement agencies may be an option. I don't know what that is, but then there's another one that says, I can forward this to a supervisor if you would like. So I would assume there is a reply email in there where they're pushing that a report needs to be opened. So the person that received it is saying, I can escalate it to a supervisor to review, but it doesn't meet criteria. And maybe this was the response. I'm not sure if this what was in the middle and it just didn't send to me in that way. Hi, so I am correct in thinking this child who I've witnessed being abused and other have witnessed also is not going to be helped in any way whatsoever. How is that possible? That's super manipulative and like blaming kind of language. Let me zoom in because I can't really see this. Miss Blank, I am blank, which I know Katie said some of this stuff in her IG Live. Again, I'm not going to share it though. A detective with Blank County Sheriff's Office in the state of Minnesota. I have been assigned to the investigation. Your report of blank and physical abuse of blank. I would like to set up a video call with you via Zoom or some other platform. I was also wondering if you have any recorded video of the incidents. It appears there is 6-hour time difference. And he signed it with what typically is signed by a government email. The report was received and reviewed by our screening team. At this time, the report is not assigned for further review. So Nat, whoever, multiple people, I mean, Little Miss Noble was clearly aware that this stuff was going on. They were dead set, clearly. Whoever, both, one, all of them were dead set on making sure that some kind of professional got involved with Katie's family. Reply with what time it is. It took me longer. Do you want to be the host? I have no idea how to do that. I'm not the greatest with technology. I normally and it cuts off. They reply with they're working on it now. Then comes this one. Hi, can you confirm in writing that you want the unedited raw footage of the videos of blank screaming as people would like confirmation? I'm not just using it for my own purpose. So law enforcement did not ask for unedited footage from what we can see of this. Maybe it's in the middle here and that didn't get shared with me, but this is almost as if she is getting ahead of herself and setting this up. In the DMs, after all of that is sent to me, they say, I hope this clears up any confusion. I say it doesn't really clear anything up, to be honest. It's all hearsay. Not much what's being alleged is not that what's being alleged isn't concerning. You are welcome to send whatever you or Nat feels should be seen, but I'm not convinced off of screenshots. I also have no fight in this. And she said, I understand. Okay. This is the longest and the most important conversation that I felt to share. I do have 2 other conversations here with 2 other people that are being thrown around in this stuff. And this is really just to explain why I ended up making the decision that I needed to send this stuff to Salts, not Katie. Because to me, it is clear that some of these people, whether they're all involved or some of them are involved, there's too much weird coincidences in how they speak when they all reach out to me, coming to me as if I was a confidant of Nat's and that they're comfortable talking to me because she would talk to me, which was not the case. So next we have this person, and I know Katie shared, again, I know she shared some of these. This is another person. I don't know who this is. Starts off right out the gate. Nat said she talks to you. She currently deleted her Twitter, everything that has gone on it the last 72 hours. But if you have another way to talk to her or find out what's been going on, she's the best person to talk to. So why are you telling me you are Nat's friend and you're reaching out to me because you're under the impression we were friends, but you're telling me I should reach out to her? It didn't make sense. Again, and this is all happening consecutively. This is all going on around the same time. All of these messages were coming to me all at the same time. But if you have another way to talk to her, to find out what's been going on, she's the best person to talk to. I have screenshots. However, it's not my story to tell either. So out of respect for Nat, I'd rather leave that up to her. She's overwhelmed at the moment. One thing I will say, though, the photos that were sent to blank are the photos only KJ has from Nat. It was Nat she was trying to get blank to destroy. Again, if you guys can don't speculate on who these are. And if you know who they are, please respect that person and don't get them further involved. That's why people's names are redacted in this. I know this as Nat showed me the photos this morning to prove it was her that KJ was trying to blast when it comes to blank. Nat is also the one that called CPS on Katie, which aligns with what KJ was telling blank and why she wanted to use. Did I miss something? Okay, why she wanted to use blank to tell Nat's story. Nat posted up screenshots on her wall admitting to tell blank that she called CPS on Katie. Not sure why blank sent the screenshots of her convo with Nat to Katie. It could be blackmail. It could be she's working for KJ. Anything is possible. I mean, this is conspiracy theories out the wazoo, man. It needs to be talked about. Nat will show you screenshots of why she reported KJ, but she was just telling me I needed to reach out to Nat, but she's talking to me on Nat's behalf. Like, what? The screenshots I've seen from Nat that KJ told to Nat about Todd is absolutely disgusting. I nearly vomited and I did bawl my eyes out. That poor little boy. Either way, if KJ felt she had nothing to worry about regarding the information Nat has seen and has proof of, she most certainly wouldn't be behaving like she is. To the point people on Twitter have noted how much KJ has been writing tweets about spending time with her son lately ever since all this came out. Katie is absolutely scared, and so she should be, from what Nat showed me and told me. She will absolutely lose her child. Nat also provided screenshots on her own Twitter before deleting it, showing KJ begging Nat to not go to CPS alongside saying that she's got a family, that Nat can't do this. And that is the screenshot that Nat sent me whenever she told me that she had called CPS. And that was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It wasn't very recent. That's why all of this is very weird. The screenshots Nat personally showed me this morning via Facebook shows KJ admitting to Todd smacking blank, and she justified that it was only once, and at least it's blank like the Duggars. Yeah, you read that correctly till Nat called her out on it. I promise you, with what Nat has, KJ will lose her child. Todd will go to prison. And that is why KJ is trying to destroy Nat. She also provided screenshots that show that this time last year, she was begging KJ to leave Todd. There are screenshots that show that Nat said that KJ promised she would. This morning on Facebook chat, Nat said her and her mother even gave KJ 200 pounds to get away from Todd. KJ promised and went back on her word. KJ, I'm not going to read that. The next, I don't know where the top of this is. I think I'm missing some of this. We'll just start with where it's at. She shared the screenshot she received about the CPS report in an IG live, basically told her followers that she believes the person who reported her was one of the hackers. So Nat said she is losing patience with Katie, that she will expose everything. The only reason why she hasn't is out of respect for Saltz. She did tell me that Saltz told her not to because KJ stands would come for her, which was fair. If Salt's ever told her not to, I would imagine it's because maybe he questioned some of the stuff and knew what is happening would probably happen. But I don't see that happening. I think they're trying to use these people who are messaging me, I think are trying to use Salt's as a scapegoat. And people are aware that people are questioning his credibility, even publicly. People are willing to question his credibility and his integrity. So why not try and point the finger at him, right? Why are all of these accounts, there's another one I'm going to show that's shorter than this one. Why are all of these accounts coming to me and saying very similar things, trying to convince me and almost manipulate me into feeling that I should defend her is kind of what I get. I don't know. I mean, I can't really come up with any other conclusion as to why they reached out to me. Because again, I wasn't close with Nat. Last time I talked to her was weeks ago, and that had to do with her being on my channel. I lost my spot. She did tell me that Salt told her not to because KJ Sands would come for her, which was fair. Blank shared it before it was public. Nat shared it publicly in response to KJ's IG story. The same video where she doxed her cousin. Nat said that it's funny how KJ will dox her own cousin, but won't mention Nat's name. I hope that makes sense. That's what I know from what Nat told me before. She deactivated her Twitter. She may be on Instagram still. I don't know, as I don't have her on there, only the Facebook and Twitter. Yes, I respect that, and I'm sure she does too. Thank you. Yes, neither. I don't know what that is in reference to. Nat said she received 40 emails since then. That's okay. I only did it as I know that Nat has spoken to you as she has told me. She knows I respect that it's her story to tell as well. Which is an interesting statement because you've just told me a whole lot about what she's going through. But it's just weird. There's plenty more, but that I don't know because I haven't been willing to ask Nat, as that's her choice. I wasn't expecting her to send me the screenshots of her and Katie's DMs where Katie admitted to the abuse. I was on video call with Nat and I just started bawling and nearly vomited. I wasn't prepared for it. I don't even know she was going to show me. I think she just was trying to prove her side of the story. I think her patience is running out very quickly. She is tough. She is in a tough spot. And then she told me some very personal and sensitive information there. That's why it's blocked. So that's another conversation I had. Now we're going to get to the last one, and then I will look at the chat. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. All right, this is Sarah. There's plenty of other screenshots and DMs going around about this person as well. Again, we start off. Hi, I am friend of Nat's. I'm told Nat got messages from a Deanna account on Monday, which she believes to be KJ threatening her to expose her child abuse story with photos Nat sent KJ last year. This is a very interesting way to just start a conversation with somebody you've never talked to before, never interacted with before. On the heels of you're Nat's friends, but I'm not even friends with Nat. I had a conversation with her. That doesn't mean I'm her friend, her acquaintance, or anything. Yesterday, Blank received the same type of threat to expose Nat or KJ would send hate his way. Again, these are all just pushing these conspiracy theories to deflect from their own behavior and their own interactions, in my opinion. Only KJ has Nat's photos, but because she was hacked in January, it is possible a hacker had this information also. That contradicts what Little Miss Noble has said. So, I mean, like, what's the lie here? Because I think these people are all talking together. They have shared screenshots among each other that they were all talking together. I mean, it's very convoluted. Natch reported it as blank. Salt said Nat and Katie are both being targeted by the hacker group, that the person messaging blank is most likely a hacker. Also, Nat's mom forced her to report the child abuse. They both, where was I at? They both witnessed to call CPS and police. Apparently, the UK police told Nat that if she didn't report it, she'd be seen as an accomplice and would be in legal trouble. And so she had no choice. Her mom stated this to her with her friends, who sent me a screenshot of it. Police asked Nat for raw footage of her mom said. So Nat asked around and blank sent KJ screenshots of Nat asking her. So she put it herself as a mole. I mean, do you guys not see how manipulative putting all of these messages together, how manipulative they are, and how they're trying to push these particular narratives and convince people of things off of emotion and hatred for Katie? I mean, let's be honest. And I mean, they all kind of contradict each other when you look at them side by side like this. Because here you have, you're comfortable to report abuse that you say you see and that you know for a fact and you have for a fact documented, but you don't actually have it documented. I mean, it makes no sense. She goes on to say, Saltz then told Nat he was annoyed at her for reporting Katie and could no longer talk to her. I don't think an attorney would be annoyed at someone if they genuinely thought that there was something occurring in that household. Again, that's just whether you like Saltz or not, you believe him or not. I mean, you have to question when you see all of this. Some people are hoping that people question Salt's credibility. Nat, the last thing she said, Nat broke down. Last I heard, she was in the hospital. Why would you, again, I can't help but continue to say this and think this. Why would you be telling somebody you do not know this information unless you have an ulterior motive? And the way that the language is in all of these messages that I got is manipulative. Did I fall for it? No. I was willing to hear them out, as I think anybody would, because of what all was going on Twitter for the past couple of days. I accepted the request. You can see in all of these messages where there were no conversations before. They just sent me this stuff, and then I'm accepting the request. And I said, okay, makes a little more sense. Do you know why Nat decided to share? She was the one who called on Katie. So does all this stuff mean blank deleted her stuff because she shared DMs? And I was being polite and said, please keep me updated on Nat and her condition. Because she was afraid people would blame blank as KJ was blaming blank. Yes, blank. Sorry for all the blanks, guys. Yes, blank was the mole. That's why she deleted her things. Nat's home. She got discharged this morning, I am told. I mean, either you know or you don't. You're saying that you're close friends with her and that you know all of this very private, like impertinent information to everything that's been going on, but you're not sure if you haven't had a conversation with her if she's been in the hospital. And I mean, this is me interjecting just for a moment to provide some information for people who maybe don't know when it comes to mental health. If you go to the hospital because of wanting to harm yourself or trying to do so, you're typically not let out in 24 hours. Can you be let out that quickly? Yes, it does happen. Once you've seen a psychologist and they run the test, if they deem that you are not in that state of mind, you can get released sooner. However, most of the time you are placed on a hold. And for someone who already has as we've been told, pre-existing mental health, they would not be released that quickly. It wouldn't happen. Have a look at blank or Little Miss Noble's page. So they're already like showing that they're talking to each other, to me. Some kind of alliance is there, maybe, or maybe they are all friends. I'm not sure. And I replied with, Mole for what though? It makes no sense for her to have been sent here hoping someone would give info. I don't doubt KJ is involved, but how everything is happening and at this timing, it's a cluster and it's like that on purpose. I think Katie set it up that way so she could play victim originally. I believe it was to get information from others. I don't think it was even about Nat at the start. It's all a mess. It really is. I can't make sense or understand why any of this has happened. She says, no, it's all crazy. Katie has messed up now, though. Her friend saw her video chat Nat. It's on a page. This is one of the messages that was shared. But Saltz has discussed with me how he's reacted to Nat reporting what her and her mom witnessed. He's refusing to talk to her any further. So what Sarah is saying corroborates some of the messages from Little Miss Noble, where Little Miss Noble shared that screenshot of a DM with Saltz. I don't know if it was with this person, but these things align way too closely. One of the things I'm confused about is the CPS part. Is there a new case? Is there a new case, or is this referring to the old one where Katie bragged about it being closed? I really was confused about that because I was not really watching Katie or her content, and I'm still not. She clarifies and says it's a new case. I say, okay. And then she says, just like everyone else, I'd recommend talking to Nat directly. I spoke to her mom, and what her mom saw was horrific. I didn't want to talk to Nat. I really didn't even want to talk to these people. I was willing to let them talk to me, but I didn't want to be involved in this stuff. She goes on to say, Nat's mom said police believe it's due to an ex and an emergency injunction was issued, and Nat offered refuge or alternate accommodations as he is dangerous and has tried to, I'm not going to say that. I mean, so what is it? Like, this makes no sense and doesn't align at all with anything. This bit of information. But do you see why is this being said to me? Why this is so random, so much information that these two people who are claiming they're Nat's friends, and that's why they want to talk to me, because I have talked to Nat a few weeks ago for a very brief period of time. I mean, literally like maybe 2 days worth I talked to her. But you're comfortable coming to me and telling me all of this stuff. I genuinely think people thought I was going to be easily manipulated and play off of my emotions. The problem here is when I tell you guys I've taken a step back and I've seen the bigger picture, I've taken the step back and I have started to put together the bigger picture. Does that mean I'm right in my assumptions and my speculation? No, but because I don't want to become a part of this, and I haven't wanted to become a part of this, I haven't really stated what my actual opinions and speculations about this is, because whether people want to believe it or not, I am inclined to believe the FBI is involved. I mean, why would Saltz be tweeting at the FBI? Why would Katie be tweeting at the FBI? Like, come on, you cannot be that big of a conspiracy theorist that you think that they're just doing that for looks. That makes no sense. And if you want to feel that way, I'm sorry. I just really disagree with you on that. And she goes on to say, so apparently he's done this before with help from someone in the US. I spoke to 2 of her friends who confirmed it also. So these 2 friends are, I'm assuming, the other 2 people who have messaged me with very similar corroborating information. I mean, it's just strange. It's very strange. She said police have escalated it to safeguard Nat. The police are treating Nat as a victim. I mean, for what? For when? For what, when, and why? Like, maybe being a victim of the hacking, but the police aren't involved with that. The FBI is. Why? Like, it makes no sense. They're extremely concerned that she's been set up. They say that the Facebook account could have been, this is when they start to push the narrative that they see that people, in my opinion, they saw that people were starting to question the screenshots and they were trying to set either me or someone up to be able to defend them so that they, in my opinion, so that they could continue on and maybe go beneath the radar. But none of this made any sense. None of this made any sense to send to me of all people and to divulge as much as that was divulged and kind of out each other in these DMs. It was just too much. She's saying that they say that the Facebook account could be faked, as if Nat's alters had the conversation and screenshot Nat would automatically believe it's a true conversation. IG, I believe is true as recorded, and please believe it that it's Katie. Which makes no sense. Like, none of that made any sense. And then there was just this little last part that I missed that just says Nat and Katie were friends, though, since 2018. Her mom confirmed it. So, with all of that, that is why I sent these messages to Salts. I reached out to Salts, and I will be 100% transparent. I have reached out to Salts one other time in like May or something like that, because someone actually sent me an Instagram DM threatening him. So I felt he should have that. And I reached out to him. I said, hey, I don't know if you need it. If you do, I'll send it to you. If you don't, forget I ever messaged you. Same thing happened with this situation. Hey, I don't know if this is going to be pertinent or not, but I have these DMs with 3 different individuals that are very conspicuous. They're very suspicious. I don't know why I'm being the one sent this information, but if you think it's important, I will share it with you. I would like to stay out of it though. And he said he'd like to see it, so I sent it to him. And then Katie is allowed to see certain parts if it includes her, from my understanding, to try and track down these hackers. So that's why she said my name. I wish she would have clarified. I sent things to Salts and not her. I don't know if she did that intentionally. I'm not going to put that on her. But I'm clearing myself, especially on the heels of all things sassy. I'm not fully aware of that situation, but I was already being sent DMs that I was working for Katie and I'm siding with Katie. Absolutely not. I haven't covered Katie in months. I'm actually going to be releasing a video this week stating I am done with this community. So no, I'm not working with Katie. What I was being sent is super concerning, let alone for maybe these individuals themselves, whether they're involved or they're easily manipulated or they're super naive. Somebody needs to interfere. And if there are investigations, which I believe there are, they should be privy to this information, because I did ask a few other people in this community if they had received any of the DMs kind of like I was getting, and no one had. So I felt I was the only one who was getting this information and that I maybe be able to help. And if I kept silent, people would continue to get threats. People would continue to get hurt. People would continue to feel unsafe. And if I know I have that information and maybe no one else does, I do want the hacking to stop. I want the threats to stop. I don't want anyone, whether I like you or not, I don't want anyone to be on the receiving end of that. So yes, I am going to, at that point, make a professional decision that I should send this to an attorney. And that's what I did. And if people want to judge me for that, if people don't want to like me anymore, if people want to run with their conspiracy theories, have fun. I'm not going to engage with this any further. I'm not going to address this any further. At this point, I have shared everything I have with you guys. Hopefully it helps you guys understand the bigger picture, because I think it does. I think to me, these messages really did allow me to have a better understanding of what, in my opinion, is going on. And I am not even going to assert that, because I'm not going to insert myself by saying potential opinions that I have about all of this. So I am going to refer to the chat now. Sorry I have ignored you this entire time, but I just had to get it all out. I hate doing screenshots. I hate doing all of that. Clearly, it's not my forte. So I really don't know what kind of conversation we can have at this point, but I'll start reading the chat. I appreciate everybody who's here. If you like the video, I appreciate it. If you're new to my channel and you haven't, please subscribe. Where did Katie mention you? I haven't watched Katie in months. Yeah, I know. I was on the same. Actually, if no one wants to believe me on that, if you watch my live stream from yesterday, you will see me find out in real time that Katie said these things in my live chat. I had somebody come in and say, Katie's talking about you. She's saying you're a source. And I was like, what? I haven't sent Katie anything, because I haven't. But that is how conspiracies start. That is how creators feel that they get bullied off the platform, because people just take assumptions and then start to push it as it's real. And I will be 100% transparent. I told Saltz I was doing this video. He didn't advise for or against it. But I'm a person of free will. And that is another thing that keeps being brought up, is that these accounts are trying to say that Saltz was encouraging people to delete things. And by no means am I saying he probably hasn't advised people to delete stuff, but you're a person of free will unless you have handcuffs on. So an attorney can tell you to do something, doesn't mean you have to do it. You're a person of free will. Will it potentially harm you or the case? Yes. And that's why they're probably advising you not to, or to delete things. But you're a person of free will. You can do as you please. So I do not buy the whole, he told me I had to delete it. No, either you felt guilty or you felt the backlash coming, so you deleted it. All right. You had someone else claiming to be a former coworker of Katie with fantastical claims. I love that word, fantastical. It was another K thanks bye moment. Yeah, as creators, I mean, unless you're in this position, it's really hard to for people to understand the aspect of, I allow anyone to reach out to me, even if you've said something terrible about me. For goodness sakes, back when I had my live stream that Katie crashed, I actually did have a conversation in DMs with her. And I've alluded, no, it wasn't the most positive, but it wasn't terrible either. I'm a respectable person. I'm going to allow you to come to me, whether it's because you want to talk to me or you want to vent or you have, some feedback that you want to give me. Heck, even if you want to say you're a gross bitch, I'm still going to accept the message and probably be a smartass and say, okay, thanks. Do you have anything else to add? So, I mean, I'm not someone who just blocks people, because you never know where people are in the moment, if that makes sense. I think you are acting prudently, and just like some who has nothing to hide, you're smart and you see through the BS. I mean, let's not forget, I was an investigator for the Department of Children and Families for 3.5 years. Okay. I'm not easily fooled. I also know how to interview people. Which is why, if you see in those messages, I wasn't engaging because I could have cared either way, whether they continue to talk to me or not. I mean, I'm not easily manipulated. I don't know if they thought because I'm an advocate, I would be easily manipulated by emotions. I don't know. And that's the only thing I can think of, because I didn't have a close relationship with Nat. I had never talked to these people before. And here they are in my DMs saying, I'm friends with Nat. I know she talked to you. I'm just going to give you all of this really concerning information and hope you don't guess it. Hope you don't second guess it. Hope you don't try to make sense of it. I speculate about everything. That's why I think people like my commentary, because I will look at something and I will look at it from this perspective, that perspective, that perspective. I don't just go with one perspective type things. That's not me. And I really highly implore you guys to, if you don't already have that form of thinking when you're watching YouTube videos, please start, because that's really the core of critical thinking, is thinking of all the different aspects, not just the one. It is really hard to do. It's really hard to take your bias out of it and take your morals and your ethics out of things. But if you really want to be able to understand why someone may come to an opposing opinion, you need to start practicing that. It will help you understand, even if it's something that at the end of the day, you're absolutely not going to agree with, it will help it kind of make sense. Thank you so much, Renelle. Everyone in this community need to come together. You know, I hope that that's something that will happen. My honest feelings is some of the relationships within this community are just too far gone. And I think it needs to come to a point where people just agree to disagree and part ways, and at least be able to be cordial with one another. So I hope so. I hope it can be. Question: how come people want to silence you when you want to speak experience in certain communities? I'm not sure what you mean. Renelle is a queen. I love Renelle. We actually had a conversation earlier today, and it was really nice. But the speculation on who's involved has gotten way too crazy. I agree with that, Gidget. Like, I'm all for speculating in your own space. Like I said, I have been speculating since the lawsuit happened. I didn't even follow the lawsuit, but with every little bit of information that has come out over the last few months, I have been coming to my own conclusions and my own opinions, but I was not going to insert myself. I was not going to potentially make this worse for people involved. And whether people honestly realize it or not, speculation and like really saying some things can actually affect things. Yes, Ger, I do have pets. I have 2 dogs. I have a husky and a chocolate lab. Hey, Anna, good to see you. I hope she's not getting you involved in the... I don't think I'm going to be involved in the lawsuit. I told Salts that I was going to be sharing everything. And I did ask, if I do this, will it affect things? And he didn't really give me a yes or no, which is what attorneys do. So I'm not mad about it. But at the end of the day, I told him I was going to do this. And I don't know if he... Thank you, Haley, for the super sticker. I don't know if it doesn't matter. That's part of the problem with this community. And I mean this genuinely, is creators care too much what other people think. If someone wants to like you, or they like your content, they like your personality, they're going to subscribe. Stop feeling silenced because you're worried how someone else is going to take something. Even if it's because you're talking bad, or I don't necessarily want to say talking bad because that alludes to something different. If you had a bad experience with a creator in a community that you're involved with, it is much better to just get on your channel, say what your grievances are. If you can't do it in private, say what your grievances are and move on. Then you don't feel that you have the weight on your chest. You have gotten it off. If people are going to be upset with you for stating your experience, then it's going to it's going to happen. Not everybody is going to be okay with what we have to say as creators. Deleting something doesn't mean it goes away. Yeah. Your black lab, Sora. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, Diane. Let me know if I didn't. I'm sorry to hear about your loss. I actually lost I had 2 huskies, and last July I lost one of them. The loss of a pet and people are really hard. What color are your dogs? Mine are black and white. I don't know if I have any decent pictures of the 2 of my dogs. My husky's black and white with blue eyes, and my chocolate lab is chocolate. He's brown with brown eyes. I'm not a very good pet parent in the sense that I'm actually not good at taking photos in general. If you saw my camera roll, it's literally just screenshots. That's the life of being a content creator. So I don't know if you guys can see that. That's Paisley. She's peeked in here before. And so has Whiskey. It's just been a while since they've been in here. I probably don't have a good picture of Whiskey. He's not that old. He's only 3, so he does not sit still well. I'm looking. I'm not seeing any. I have more videos of him than I do photos. Maybe one day I'll do something for my dogs. I've said that a couple of times and I've never actually done it. Your husband says you take too many pictures of your dogs. Yeah, Kiki Ray. They were in the background of one of the live streams I did, I think back in November. I'm sorry to hear that, Austin. Losing any kind of pet is hard. But guys, for anyone who watches the replay, I don't want to get too far off topic. So I'm going to start wrapping this up. I appreciate those who sent the super chats. You really didn't have to. I hope this clears up some things, and I hope maybe those who are trying to like piece together who all is with who, do what you will. Like, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. But I just hope that people don't just automatically accuse somebody of something because you hear it elsewhere. I know a couple of people had reached out to me, like I said, saying that they were aware other people were questioning me and my credibility just because Katie said my name. And that sucks. That makes me not want to be associated with this community, because I have done nothing for people to question my credibility or my integrity. And the fact that because Katie said something, these people wouldn't come to me and ask me about it. Instead, they want to create drama, in my opinion, because when you're going to go behind the person's back and start DMing about things, it's how dramas happen. I also wish Katie would have just not said my name, one. And if she did, I wish she would have clarified that I sent stuff to Salts and not left it up for interpretation. But again, just because I'm doing this doesn't mean that I don't think Katie's problematic. I 100% believe Katie's problematic. I 100% stand behind the videos I have done being critical of her. My opinions of her have not changed. But when I am being sent things that are super concerning and suspicious and may help, I'm going to do it. And I tried to do it behind the scenes, but unfortunately, I was not respected enough to have that remain that way, and that sucks. But that is the only reason why I'm here. I don't want people running with narratives that aren't true. I don't want to deal with drama. I don't tolerate drama. As you can tell, anytime I've had to deal with drama, this is what I do. I sit here. I come to you guys with all the receipts and the facts. I hate doing this. I feel like it's just not comfortable to feel. I don't feel that I had to necessarily. I had the choice to not do this. But at the same time, I felt if I didn't, I'm risking myself getting involved in drama. Because, like I said, love or hate this community, we like to run with conspiracies. We like to run on speculation. And I'm not going to let that happen to myself if I have evidence to show otherwise. You don't mean to be offensive to anyone. Is All Things Sassy a legit person? Yes, they are. I have had conversations with them. I think that maybe they were in a similar situation to what I was in with all of this. I just think they chose to handle it differently. And because of the way they handled it, looks extremely suspicious. I understand people's suspicion around her. I have questioned her quite a bit. I still have some questions, but they are a legitimate person. You know, it's one of those things where you kind of just have to go with your gut instinct. Don't be so quick to befriend people on the internet. If you're speaking every day on the phone, that might be a little much. I mean, you guys know, if you've been with me for any amount of time, I always talk about healthy boundaries. I always talk about healthy boundaries. You have to understand that you don't know who you're talking to. Even if it's a creator, look what happened with Creepshow. People can portray themselves one way. You may perceive a creator a certain way, and that's not who they are. You need to always put you and your safety first. Do not ever give somebody your real name, your real address, your real phone number until you are 100% sure that you can trust them. Who outed you, if you don't mind me asking? I don't necessarily know if you could consider it an out, but Katie just said on her Instagram live last night that she said my name, said I had been critical of her, and that I had given a lot of information and have been a source to either her or Michael Salt. So it left it up for interpretation that I was feeding her stuff, which was not the case. And I shared all of the screenshots that I have sent them. So, all right. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I shared? Hey, Sharon, good to see you. Hey, Stina. So why are you believing the DMs? We don't know who's behind them. Could these be the same? It could be. I don't know what has given you the impression that I'm believing these DMs. I am showing these DMs so people understand that there's a lot more to the conspiracy theories and trying to figure everything out than people, I think, are realizing. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. Hopefully people will put away their tinfoil detective hats and stop accusing people of things. I mean, to me, it's one thing to, I don't necessarily have any concerns or issues with people speculating and, thinking if they can find, links and stuff like that. I don't have an issue with that. I think what becomes hurtful and problematic is when people start saying specifically, this person did this person did that, because from what I have seen, yeah, I think a lot of players that have been called out are involved to some degree, but it's harmful to say, for a fact. And if you have any kind of stature in this community and you're doing that, some people are just going to believe that. They're not going to second guess it. They're going to believe it because you said it, and that's what they're going to push out. And that can cause an issue. It can cause an issue for the person that you're saying is doing these things. It can cause an issue for investigations, and it can come back on those people if they continue to go to the links that some have. Question, coming from your paying attention backlash from what you reported on. I don't pay attention to the backlash. Will I probably get some in this video? Probably. I don't know. I just assume with any video or any live stream I do, I'm going to get backlash. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Each creator has their own way of dealing with backlash. I choose to either ignore it, or if it starts to be something that spirals into someone making up a lie about me, I will address it and move on. Alrighty, I don't really see any other questions coming through, so I am going to hop off of here. I appreciate everybody who's here. As always, there are multiple links. If you need to contact me, you are welcome to. If you have any questions that you asked and I didn't get to, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys being here. I do intend, for those who have been on my channel for any period of time, I do intend on putting up the poll for tomorrow's open discussion here in the next few minutes. So if you're interested in participating in that conversation and what topic is picked, keep an eye on the community tab. Otherwise, I hope you guys all have a good day, evening, or night, wherever you guys are. And until tomorrow. Bye.